Test.
You got it.
Really bug
I figured.
people. Good evening, everybody. I'm Carrie Knapp, the principal at Highland High School. Thank you for braving the weather to be with us tonight. One programming note, some of you already heard this, but I'm going to continue to offer plugs for our PTO. Our PTO is made up of two dedicated ladies, one of whom is Julie Reeves. She's been with us for the past several years. Our after prom is 100% funded by PTO. We don't ask the kids to pay for that. However, we do rely on donations for that. We're about $8,000 in the hole right now, which is okay. We have plenty of time to go ahead and fill that void. But if you have a business or you know someone who does, or you would like to make a personal donation, she is out right out to the right and willing to accept those via Venmo. She has the square if you want to run your card or cash. So again, that takes place after our prom. Our prom got moved this year to Blue Heron, so we're really excited about that. And then we're going to head over to hopefully to Scene 75 in Brunswick, where the kids can enjoy that after prom. It's really a nice venue. So the kids will hear those details in the next coming months. But if you're willing, or you want, or you know someone who is willing to make a donation, Julie Reeves can certainly answer any questions that you have. I'm going to turn this over to our counseling team. Thank you.
All right. As Carrie said, thank you guys all for being here tonight. It's pretty cold out there, and I didn't expect a large turnout, so I'm very happy to see you all here. So we're going to be talking about a bunch of different options for scholarships tonight, and we have some different guests here. I am Alexis Rains. I am school counselor for students with last names A through F. We also have our other school counselors with us, Julie Lakins. She is school counselor for last names G through L. We have Carolyn Colbo, who is school counselor for students with last names M through R. And then we have Jim Addington, school counselor, last names S through Z. We also have our awesome counseling secretary here who does so much for our team, Mrs. Norman. And then from the Highland Foundation, I believe they're not here yet because it's cold, but the Highland Foundation is a big part of our scholarships for our students. They do so much for our kids and provide so many opportunities for scholarships for them. So hopefully we will see Teresa Wright and Dave D. Simon. And then from College Now, we also have Nancy Dunn with us here to teach you guys about the scholarship opportunities available there and the awesome services that College Now provides our students. Just a few announcements before we do get started talking about scholarships. Prestige is going to be at the high school from 7 to 12 on January 22nd for yearbook photos for your seniors. Your students' deadline is January 31st, so please make sure your students sign up. There is a sign-up link in their email. Graduation announcements, if you did order these are going to be passed out to seniors who ordered them on March 7th. For the class of 2024. And then caps and gowns are going to be delivered April 18th. They're going to be handed out during lunch periods. So seniors who do leave for open campus are going to pick them up before they leave for the day. And then if your student is a Career Center student, it will be a different date for them to get those. And as it says at the bottom, if you have not yet ordered your student's cap and gown, please visit justins.com as soon as possible. May is coming up very quickly. And then please fill out for your students, have them fill out their community service seal paperwork. This is a graduation requirement for students. If they want to get out of here, then they're going to need to have this paperwork turned in. They can pick it up at the counseling office, and then they have to have 15 hours of community service completed. And you can, like I said, you can find the proper form in the counseling office. Transcripts, we will send mid-year transcripts automatically. We have a lot of students every year who ask us when we're sending these transcripts. You don't need to ask, they get sent automatically to your colleges. Your 7th semester transcript will be sent home later this year. And then our students know a big part of their senior year is their senior interview. Please make sure your student, if they haven't already, schedules their senior interview with their counselor. This is an opportunity for us to advise them on the college experience after high school. It gives us just a really good opportunity to talk with your student. So how do we pay for post-secondary education? There are a few ways. The first one is grants. So this is money that is just given to you, and it's usually a needs-based money. And then there is student loans. This is money that you have to pay back. I'm sure you guys have heard about student loans plenty of times. This is why we like to have scholarships so that you don't have a bunch of money you have to pay back. We have work studies. This is a needs-based campus job that your student can do, and that money that they receive from that job can pay for their college tuition. And then why we're here tonight, scholarships. This is money that is gifted to your student. It's merit-based typically, and this money also does not need to be paid back. Over the last 2 years at Highland, our students have earned over $5 million in scholarships, which is a lot to say the least. We, again, are so blessed to have so many opportunities for just Highland students. And then we also have opportunities for Medina County students and students who are around the area. There are a few different types of scholarships that we will talk about. The ones that we really like to focus on are institutional scholarships and local scholarships. So institutional, you can see there's a big chunk of money for your students there. And then local, there's that smaller chunk, but still a large chunk. And then national, these are the scholarships that are big name scholarships. So these are highly competitive. A good example of this is Gates Millennium. So you can see your student has a 1.5% likelihood of being chosen as a semifinalist, not even getting the scholarship. Now, if your student does get these scholarships, they are typically very large paying scholarships, ones that can cover their entire tuition. And I do see people taking pictures. Just so you know, this presentation is also going to be listed online on the school counseling website. So just so you're aware. Continuing, Coca-Cola scholarship is another one. It's estimated that 0.15% of applicants are chosen as the recipient for these. So again, when you think of these national scholarships, you're going to think of scholarships that have a lot of reward, lots of money. However, they're very difficult to get. So you might want to tell your student to spend a little bit more time in other areas, such as institutional areas. So these are scholarships that are directly through the institution that your student is going to be going to. These are typically scholarships that are merit-based. Your student also, when they do their FAFSA, will be automatically considered for different scholarships that are needs-based and merit-based. Those are the ones that are automatic. And then if you go to your institution's website, they might even have sent you some information already. That institution, most of them typically have separate scholarships that you can fill out an application for. And there is a difference between renewable scholarships and one-time scholarship. So when you think renewable, this is a scholarship that your student will get over every year that they are in the college. Typically, it's 4 years. And so they'll get that scholarship every single year. One-time scholarship is exactly what it sounds like. They get one sum of money, and that's the scholarship. So most universities have a scholarship section on their website. If we click on the University of Akron Scholarship Portal, this is going to be just an example of what a website would look like. So your student's going to look up their university and scholarships. And as school counselors, we are always happy to help with this as well, helping your student navigate this process. So an example here, if you look, it'll tell you the different awards. It's going to tell you eligibility, and you can't see it because the screen's a bit too focused, but on the right-hand side, there's a column, and that column tells you if it is an automatic scholarship that your student's automatically considered for, or if it is a scholarship that an application is required. So this merit scholarship right here, this is going to be one that your student is automatically considered for if they chose Akron. And again, this is very similar in other colleges typically, but this would be one that they're considered for right off the bat. And then ones that you would look at down, if you scroll down a little, like the Goodyear Driving Opportunity Scholarship, this is one that you have to meet the eligibility requirements for. And it says on the right-hand column that you would have a separate application for this. If we can go back to the presentation, please. Awesome. So local scholarships. Again, these are something we are really lucky to have here at Highland, and these are going to be opening up tomorrow. This is going to be accessed this year via school links. In the past, students accessed it in a previous portal called Naviance, but this year we're using school links to do this. So this is money that your student's going to be receiving through Medina County or through Highlands Foundation or different donors who donate specifically to Highland High School students. They set that money aside for Highland High School. So we're just going to run through this really quickly because this is going to be posted online, and just to give you an idea of what your student's going to be doing. They're going to be seeing this whole screen right here, and this is the screen for school links. They're going to be clicking on this finance section. After clicking finances, they're going to click scholarship matching, and it's going to bring them to this page we see here. It's going to ask your students just a few demographic information, and then after that page, it's going to have interests. Your student can skip through the interests. I just wanted to make sure you had it. You saw exactly the steps they're taking. And then it's going to automatically add their colleges that they have already put their applications into school links. Those colleges should automatically be listed there. So then they'll click view matches, and it's going to bring up a bunch of scholarships like this. So the left-hand side is where they're going to see all the different scholarships. Right now, we don't have any active Highland Local or Highland Foundation yet. That'll be tomorrow. But with that being said, when they click on a scholarship, they're going to see this whole section. So there's going to be like a blurb. That blurb tells them what the eligibility requirements are, what the steps are. And if they click the apply button, it's either going to take them to a separate link, which would be for scholarships that are not through the foundation or through Highland Local. Or if it is a Highland Foundation or a Highland Local scholarship, then when they click apply, it's going to take them to a document that they can fill out. Hello. So Highland Local and Highland Foundation scholarships are going to bring you to a PDF file. You don't have to write this email down. This email is going to be at the top of every single application that they apply to. They have very distinct instructions on them. But your student is going to have a fillable application. All the applications are fillable this year, so they can just add their information right into it. And then they're going to send this along with supporting documents to the email that will be listed on the page. What we are asking of students is to make sure that all these documents are added together in one file and sent in separate emails, because it keeps the process nice and organized, and it keeps the correct supporting documents with the correct scholarships. And if that sounds confusing, we do have instructions on how to combine these PDFs. Again, this is listed online, and we will be working with your students tomorrow. Seniors are going to be staying in the school building during open campus so that we can go over this information with them as well, and so that we can get into this portal and get them familiar with what it looks like and what they can apply to with these scholarships. An example of some recent statistics for scholarships we've had. Last year, one of the Highland Local scholarships was the Stephen Bilecki Scholarship. So just for context, we had one scholarship available, $1,500 and 32 applicants. So as you can see, that's pretty good odds for your student. Only 32 applicants isn't a large amount compared to, the higher level national scholarships or institutional. And then our lovely Highland Foundation scholarships, there are 14 that were available last year, and they averaged around $1,000, but there's different ranges there. And some of them had 37 applicants on average. And again, that is just not a crazy large amount of, applicants. And so it's a great idea to encourage your student to be applying for these so that they have better odds at getting a scholarship. Some important dates to remember. So January 18th, that's tomorrow. That's the date that the portal is going to open. That's the date we're going to be having the workshop with your seniors. We did let them know they're going to be staying during open campus, but if not, they're going to know tomorrow again if they didn't pay attention. And then March 15th is the deadline for students to submit their applications. This is a hard deadline. It is not one that is flexible. If they are applying Highland Local or Highland Foundation, they have to have them in by the end of the day on March 15th. May 14th is going to be our award ceremony. Just an important date to have down. This is going to be by invite only. And what that means is you'll receive an invite in the mail if your student was selected to be a scholarship recipient. It's not going to tell them what scholarship they're receiving or any fun details like that. That gets to be a lovely surprise on the day of the ceremony. And some helpful tips to have. As you can see, everyone is not applying. We have around 270 students in our senior class, and these scholarships had 32, 37 applicants. So your student has, again, a really good odd. You don't need to be a 4.0 student to win a scholarship. In fact, we have a bunch of scholarships in the system, a handful that are specifically for students who don't have a 4.0 GPA, so that we're making sure there's access everywhere. Applying is a process, not an event. What that means is that you want to ensure your student is taking time to complete these applications. They're not trying to do it all at one time. They want to make sure they're spending time actually answering the scholarship prompts. It can be pretty obvious if a student, copies the same prompt for every single essay. They add the same essay to every single scholarship. You want them to just really spend their time, just 30 to 45 minutes per week during ALL, if they come to ALL. If not, if they're at home, just a little bit of time per week. This way they can really put their best foot forward for these scholarships. They need to turn in a completed application. If your student doesn't turn in all the supporting documents, they're not going to be considered. The application will just be scrapped. So as I said before, deadlines do matter, especially these Highland Foundation and Highland Local scholarships. It takes time to go through these scholarships to get our selected recipients, and so they have to have them on the deadline. For outside scholarships, if you need transcripts, Mrs. Norman can help. If you are applying to Highland Local or Highland Foundation scholarships, if your student is, then those transcripts automatically get sent in, so you don't have to worry about that. However, when it comes to any outside scholarships that are not Highland Local or Highland Foundation, you'll tell your student to talk to Mrs. Norman. And you can see in the portal, you can see there underneath each scholarship title, it'll say if it's Highland Local or Highland Foundation, just to make that easier for you. And then your counselor can help with any questions or confusion. That's exactly what we're here for, to make sure we're helping your students get access to everything that they can. And then we have the lovely Teresa right here with the Highland Foundation, and she's going to talk to us a little about the opportunities that they have for your students.
All right, it's a long list that's up here, and I know that a few slides ago you showed the Blecky Scholarship and the Highland Foundation Scholarship, and that slide's actually a couple of years old. So last year, I think the biggest point I want, the Highland Local Scholarships, we have named and just a scholarship that's called the Highland Foundation Scholarship. The Highland Foundation Scholarship, last year we awarded 29. This is a picture, if you've got the annual report, of everybody across the stage. The stage was literally one side to the other. Only 35 students applied last year for that scholarship. We awarded 29. So that's when, and we had like 40 some applicants for the Blecky, and we were only able to award one. So keep that in mind. It's not just the dollar amount of the scholarship, but the fit of the scholarship and maybe how many are being awarded. The Highland Foundation Scholarship is awarded based on service and academic rigor. There's no GPA. We're looking for students that take appropriate rigor in their school, in their coursework, and that are active in our school and in our local community. Lots of ways to do that. Sorry, I won't go through all of these, but I want to point out up here, $81,000 in awards. That's how much we're giving away this year, more than $81,000. So that's why you keep hearing Highland Local and Highland Foundation. In the last few years, thanks to a number of named donors, we have a lot of scholarships that are being awarded for particular interests. And thanks to everybody that supports the Great Gifts Dinner that we do in November, all of those awards for the General Highland Foundation Scholarship, it's the name of it, it's a Highland Foundation Scholarship, are from your overpriced dessert at the dinner. So this year we raised a lot of money, so we're giving away 21 this year. So for your students that are applying, there'll be 21 Highland Foundation, and then an additional, whatever your math is, 38 minus 21, I didn't do the math, are the rest of the named scholarships. There are, you can go ahead, are you flipping on me? This is a crazy slide. It is not user-friendly, I know that, but it is your cheat sheet. That's why it looks like that. If you do nothing else as a student or a parent, all these bold titles up here, that's who should apply for that scholarship, okay? There is literally something for everyone. There are scholarships available for students that are going on for professional technical, associate's degree, 4-year degree. There are scholarships for students who have a lower GPA, maybe have struggled in math, but are going to pursue math in college. The Wagar Scholarship, you cannot have a high GPA and get that scholarship. It is intended for a student who has persisted in math or science despite it being difficult for them. The Opportunity Scholarship that's up here, College is your Hail Mary, right? You need some help to get there, whether it is financial or because your grades were crap. Maybe you were a terrible student for 3 years. Senior year, you got your stuff together and you need some help. Tell us why. That's what those applications are. There is no perfect essay. There is an appropriate essay for who you are and who we're looking for. And that's who we're looking for. The Baker Family Scholarship, we're looking for a really strong student who is a leader. The Ayers Achievement, we're looking for a well-rounded student who is a high academic, who's pursuing STEM. But they are all different. I won't go through all of them for you, but they're up here. And literally, there is something for everyone, truly. Okay? Oh, sorry. No, one more thing. Some of these scholarships are renewable. When your student applies for the scholarship, it'll say on the application if it's renewable. The Ayers are potentially renewable, but Baker Family Leadership is renewable. The Chorba Family Scholarship is renewable for 2 years. Your student needs to stay in contact with the foundation. Let us know that you are still studying and you still want that scholarship the following year. A number of them are. We have some brand new scholarships this year, and I don't want to not mention them. Max Musichka, if anybody knew Max, would have graduated this year. We have a scholarship in his honor. It's a $5,500 scholarship. It'll be a $2,500 award year one. The following 3 years, $1,000 each. $5,500. 55 was Max's number. They're that special. So they're looking for a specific student. It's not a high achieving student. It's a student with specific interests. The application will say that. And the hardworking scholarship that's up here is intended for a student who has been working through high school with the intent of paying for their own college education or a portion of it. So this is a brand new scholarship for us. We're trying it, and it provide a copy of your W-2, all your information whited out, right? We don't want your personal information, or a pay stub. Show us how hard you've been working and what role that's playing in your college education. So literally something for everybody. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Teresa. And now we are going to have Nancy Dunn from College Now come explain how they have different scholarships available. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so hi, I'm from College Now. Some of you may remember me being here back in the fall talking about scholarships, financial aid, and the FAFSA. If you do have FAFSA questions, we will have an advisor here on Friday. So go online, make an appointment, and talk with them about your FAFSA. And you can ask me tonight too. I'm going to hang out for a little bit after the meeting. Okay, so our first scholarship that we have at College Now, which your students are eligible for, would be the College Now Traditional Scholarship. It is for high school seniors who have financial need. So when you fill out your FAFSA, if it shows that your family is Pell eligible, if your student is Pell eligible, then they're eligible to apply for the scholarship. They do have to have a GPA of at least 2.5 or higher. And they also must have a qualifying ACT or SAT score. So that this scholarship is not test optional. It does require the test score of at least 18 or higher on the ACT or a 960 or higher on the SAT. And they attend a school that's served by College Now, so your students are eligible to apply. You can apply online if you go to the College Now website and hit the Find Scholarships button, which is up at the top of the page. It will take you to our scholarships page, and this is one of the scholarships listed on it. And I know you'll have a copy of this slideshow so that you have the website that you can apply for it as well. And the due date is March the 27th, and that is a hard due date. So anyone who tries to apply for it after that will find that the application is closed. So we also have the Jimmy Malone Scholarship. This also is a scholarship for students who have financial need. It is offered by local personality Jimmy Malone in the greater Cleveland area. You may have heard of him. He loves to help out students, and so if your student qualifies for this one, I highly encourage you to apply. It is test optional. Students do have to have the minimum GPA of a 2.5 or higher and have that financial need, that being Pell eligible, but they don't have to have a qualifying test score. The application for this is also found on the College Now website. When they fill out the traditional scholarship application on the College Now website, once the application is submitted, it will also show the students some additional scholarships that they could be eligible for, and this is one of those scholarships. And it has a due date of March the 6th. The Phi Beta Kappa Scholarship, it is eligible for students to apply who have a cumulative weighted GPA of 4.0 or higher, and ACT score of 31 or higher, or an SAT score of 1420 or higher. It is not related to your financial needs. So this is just an academic merit scholarship. So if your student meets these qualifications academically, I highly encourage you to have your student to apply. Last year we had very few students apply, so your chance of winning one of these does increase. So if your student wins this, then they are supported by the Phi Beta Kappa Society out of the greater Cleveland area. And that due date is also March the 6th, and that application website is on here as well. And I know you'll have a copy of this so you can get that application from that. So the Cleveland Foundation Scholarship is offered through College Now. It's one of our managed scholarships. The Cleveland Foundation has over 60 scholarships that they offer. Some of them are based on financial need, but many of them are not. This application is also found on our website. It's kind of like the Common App. You fill out one application, and then all of your student has a chance to apply for all of those 60 scholarships that they could be eligible for. It will let your student know which ones they might be eligible for. So they should definitely apply for this one. It is online at our College Now website, as well as through the website that's directly linked on here. And the due date for that is March 13th, which is also a hard due date. If you're looking for additional scholarships, I highly recommend that you still stick local. You know, you have the great Highland Foundation here for those scholarships, as well as the local ones that I mentioned through College Now. But I also encourage you to think about what your student may be eligible for through your own workplaces. If your workplaces offer some kind of scholarship, or if your house of worship, if you attend someplace like that, or any kind of community clubs or organizations that you may be a part of, those local scholarships, your students do have a better chance of winning those. So definitely think about applying for those. But if you do want to go on and look at some larger national type scholarships, you can always use the College Now website. We do have a scholarship. At the very bottom of our scholarship page, there is a link to what we call outside scholarships. We do know that all of those scholarships have been vetted, so someone has won them. So you can look there. They are listed by the soonest due date, so you might want to scroll through and find some that aren't so close to being due that your student might want to apply for, but apply for those. You can also find scholarships at Big Future, the College Board website, as well as Appley, which was formerly known as CapEx. That's the other website that I recommend for students to look for scholarships. So some of you have met Dr. Gates and spent time with her as you were helping your senior for their college applications. And I'm sad to say, well, sad for me, sad for you, sad for College Now, but happy for Dr. Gates that she has retired with the changing of the new school year. So she is no longer with us. But we do have a new wonderful College Now advisor for you. His name is Jackson Stuff, and his contact information is here. The link to book appointments with him is still the same link that you use to book an appointment with Dr. Gates, but that is his sideline phone number that you can contact him at, as well as his email address. So he is doing some onboarding with us, but he does have experience in working with students, so we're excited to have him with us. And we're always here if you have questions, so thank you for being here.
Thank you. Okay, so just some final steps for your student. A lot of these scholarships are going to ask your student for a resume. So you can have your student create a resume just to have their background information down. Have your student, as of tomorrow, it'll be open as the school day begins. Review scholarship information on school links. Again, we're going to be doing this with your student during ALL tomorrow. So make sure they're here. And contact and review institutional scholarships. Again, this is scholarships that are through the college your student intends on going to. And then appointment with your counselor if you would like to discuss any of this further. Again, please email your child's school counselor with any questions. And thank you so much for making it out here tonight.